everybody. Welcome to our
favorite.
Jared just locates his shoulder.
Did you hear that, Jake?
Yes, I did.
Ow.
We're going to be currently, we're working our way as Jared is
back into the socket.
We're working our way through Jake's top 10 favorite movies of all time. And we ended up here on number 4? Number 3?
5. Number 4, number 3, number 5.
So close, but so far away.
Yeah, that wasn't even close.
Well, it was 1 off and then 2 off. But
Yeah, you went
regardless,
farther away.
We were the wrong way. Jacob.
It's like my mom talking to me here.
Crap, I don't know your middle name.
Don't tell him.
Keep going.
Because I was going to say your mom's not going to call you. Well, you should say your last name. Jacob Moerdyke. What is your 5th favorite pick of all time?
Well, you see, I'm just a basic bitch. So let me tell you, this is one of the most important movies to my childhood.
Let me spin a manly yarn.
Made out of fur and 20-minute dung.
Ooh.
No,
that movie's 2 hours of dung.
It is. At least this one's only 96 minutes of it.
Is it really 96 minutes?
96.
89 minutes according to Letterboxd.
Well, that's not right.
I know. That's weird. I thought it was longer.
It is. I watched it last night.
Yeah. What's the movie, Jake?
Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
It's the Lion King before Dickie gets any further into that. I'm
But
sorry. I'm
this ain't
sorry
no
to our
passing
listeners.
Grade.
No, you are no Nathan Lane.
What's a motto?
That was Pumbaa's
I don't know. What's the
line.
motto with you?
That was Pumbaa's line, though.
Oh.
The passing craze first time. That's Pumbaa, so he's perfect for Pumbaa.
There you go.
He's no worries.
Oh, stop.
He is not singing it like Pumbaa.
Yeah, sing it, kid.
It's our problem free.
Why did you start this again? I stopped it. I succeeded. I may have made him sad, but I stopped it.
What's the movie?
The Lion King.
Say it again so everyone can hear it.
The Lion King.
What year? You have to specify now.
The the far superior version.
Thank you.
2019.
No, I don't think anyone's going to argue the 2019 one is superior than this one. If you
I'm sorry, I can't even say it without laughing.
If you do, you're wrong.
Oh, what a lifeless turd.
Hey, that turd moved the plot.
It really did for 20 whole minutes.
Rolling.
Keep on rolling.
Jared, give them the disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Which one?
Disclaimer.
About most of this episode is going to be.
Because the 1994 animated adaptation of The Lion King by Disney has been talked and dissected to death in the almost 30 years since it was released in theaters, we will probably be making a lot of passing and harsh comments comparing it to its bastard child 2019 version that is apparently live action but like 95% animated and is considered the highest grossing animated film in history.
What's the 5%?
Barf. I don't know. I thought there was.
There's got to be a real lion in there somewhere.
Oh, they cut that scene.
Anyway, this movie.
Simba, you're my brother.
Oh my God.
Another thing everyone online for 20 some years have talked about: incest. Go ahead, Jake. That was the disclaimer. John, are you sure we want to have this scene in here? It's got to be in there. I don't think I'm going to... Listen, Bob, I'm putting it in there.
You know...
I don't remember who... Oh, they're both Bobs. I'm good.
There can be more than one male lion in a pride of lions.
Yeah, but then they end up being the gay villain.
Not necessarily. There's a whole second movie about how Scar had his own lineage.
You watched the movie? I'll start. I used to think that they gave Scar some pretty fruity mannerisms. It's not even subtle. It's not even. Yeah, I shall practice my curtsy. It's not even subtle.
But then the whole second movie is about his lineage.
Because Disney in the 90s saw that and goes, oh, well, we have to go back on that.
I guess everybody's
got
to have a
mad
beard.
if they realize it. So it's like, oh, Scar has a son.
Anyway, The Lion King.
Yeah, you watch the movie every I was paying attention this time. Okay, people always say like Scar is basically gay. And I'm like, okay, so I'm watching it. And it's
Meticulous
that's
planning.
not even subtle. Oh man, yeah. And he's so funny.
Dude, Jeremy Irons.
And I'm gonna rule it up. Huh. Oh goody.
Jeremy Irons is daddy. I love Jeremy Irons so much.
You're so weird. You have no idea.
You know,
It's like,
this time around, that line sent me. I was correct.
that was today. Oh, I feel so awful. Must have slipped my mind. Like, I don't have his sultry sounding voice.
No one
but
does.
just the way, the delivery, it's like, yeah, that's that. They told him to do it like that. Just
yeah.
ham it up like that. That
May I
was
talk-
the big thing I noticed.
Hold on. May I talk about my fifth favorite movie now?
Yes.
Yeah?
We
Yeah?
all kept going, so I had to start somewhere. So I started with Scar being gay.
Somebody save me. Anyway, this movie had a big hand in shaping my childhood. A lot of the reason I like the music I do today is because of this movie. That is specifically because Elton John did the popularized versions of the songs.
He wrote the songs.
Yeah, okay.
He performed versions of the songs that
Yeah.
I believe were submitted for awards.
He performed versions of the songs, and my dad loved them. We had the cassette tape of this. Do you remember what a cassette tape is, Dickey?
Yes, I do. I'm almost 30 years old.
Almost 30 years old. You were, if not even born yet, just barely born when this came out.
I was born, thank you.
95. No, you weren't.
This came out in 94, didn't it?
Yeah. So 95 is the next year.
So I was born.
When this came out?
Yeah.
No. This came out in 94. This came out like a couple weeks before I was born. Do you know how this works? This came out before you were born.
No, that's what I meant. And so I
The way you said it, this came out before. No.
I was
born.
I was
We're like,
born while this was out, is what I meant.
no.
That means you could have been born at any point in the last 30 years.
Yes! Sorry, that was loud. Yeah.
Its original theatrical run was not happening when you were born.
I'm not saying that. I'm simply
That's what you
saying
mean when you say
I
it was out.
Alive
You were alive
when this was out. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
after it came out. When
Yeah.
it was out
You
refers
could
to
say
it
that
being
about
in
any
theaters.
movie prior to
Already.
Don,
1995.
learn how to
Remembering
talk.
it to
Learn how
be
to
in
talk, you stupid
theaters.
95 year of the boar little.
What are you saying? Year of the Boar?
Yes, Chinese zodiac animal.
I guess that fits here.
Why, when he was a young warthog,
When
after the movie
I
came
was
out-
a young warthog.
Very nice.
Thanks.
No.
Anyway,
See, okay, let me make a new disclaimer. We're not going to talk about 22. We're just going to quote the 94 one and sing every 5 minutes. Jake, you go before we keep going. Shut up! You mook.
anyway. God.
Jake, talk, or I'll keep talking, and then you're going to be like, well, my favorite movie is, see? I'm doing it now! Stop it! Talk! Ow!
I can't. Hold on.
Come on, talk!
I can't. Man, hold on. Pause. Oh, whoa.
Reset.
Van Damme.
Street Fighter.
Whew. Anyway, this is one of my favorite movies. It shaped how I interpret
Stop
music
laughing.
because we had the cassette tape. The Elton John half of it was the side that my dad wanted to listen to, and that made him What are you laughing at?
He's still laughing. I'm trying to stop. And then you're laughing too while you're talking through it. Everyone, okay, ready? Breathe in. Everyone, ready? Ready? Breathe in. Come on, we're supposed
That
to
just
breathe.
makes me laugh
Come
more.
on, come on, breathe.
Stop.
Come on, breathe. Breathe. Jake, go.
Anyway, my dad loved to listen to that side of the cassette, which made him get me to listen to the Eagles and the Billy Joel and.
This was the gateway to your music taste as a kid.
Yes, it was. Also, I just had I was obsessed with this movie. I think as everyone around my age probably is.
And more than that.
I in my room at home, there still sits an old Lion King stuffed animal that my parents gave me for Christmas. It's this one where you flip a mane over Simba's head, so it's both of the. It's like a hood.
I feel like I remember seeing that.
And then I had a baby one that you pressed different areas and it talked.
Nice.
Did you have just the OG Simba one that it's not like a plush or anything special? It's just a little stuffed animal of young Simba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone had that. My sister had that.
You want to know what toy I had? You'll never guess.
No.
Okay. It was.
I don't know.
It was. Are you ready for this? It was a little a push button that when you push it, it's just set a line. It was very simple, and it was just Scar's line. I'm surrounded by idiots.
Oh, I have that.
You had that
It's
too?
a book.
It was what?
It was a book.
No,
Are
it
you
was
talking?
just
Are you talking the books that you'd read them and when it showed the picture,
Yep.
you'd hit the button on the side? I love
Yep.
those things, and
Mine
it'd make
was-
funny noises.
Mine was literally just a button. That's it. Just
Your parents gave you a button?
I like to push their button.
It was just a button
so-
that said that.
Yes.
Like one of those dogs you see getting trained on TikTok.
Yeah, and I was gonna go like the staples.
Did
like,
you
that
start
was
do-
easy,
did you
that
start-
was easy. Like you know that
Did
commercial.
yes. Did you start doing stuff when they said and they pushed the button?
No, I pushed.
Like,
the
are you
button
sure?
All the time.
Are you sure?
I was like, I'm surrounded by idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots.
I bet your parents.
And then Dickey probably
Love
had that
that.
toy taken away.
Oh, they regretted that decision pretty fast. But it was great. I love that button. I love to push buttons.
Anyway, further into my story about this.
This one.
I have seen this movie. To speak to how much I actually love this movie, when it originally came out on VHS tape, do you remember what a VHS tape is?
Yes, I know what a VHS tape is, Jacob.
You're just so young.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
I'm 1 year younger than you.
But you don't collect physical media, so we don't know what you know.
Who cares?
I gotta stop using these as a vid. You didn't pick on Dickey.
Keep going.
I'm gonna kind of dox myself here. I grew up in the Ascot. I'm not gonna do it. North eastern part of Kent County.
I thought you were just going to say Michigan, but
Yeah.
instead I was going to say Northeast. But okay.
There was a video store in our old town, and you had to. You could pre-order VHS tapes as they were released, right? Well, you had to put your name on a list for The Lion King. My mom put our name on it, and we had to wait because you had to wait. At that time, you weren't ordering the VHS tape. You had to order it so that when it was out of cycle or when the copy ran through cycle for the rental place.
So you're renting it. You're not
You could
buying
buy
it
it then.
You're renting it.
No. It ran through its rental life cycle, and then you got the chance to buy it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because VHS wear down when they're watched that much.
Yep. I had to wait 8 months after this movie came out for it to come to my house, and so that I could watch it again and again and again and again, because in the theater was not enough for me. My guys, I have seen this movie at least once, sometimes twice, every single time it has been re-released in theaters, which if you could please look that up and see how many times that was. I believe it's something like 6. Because there were the 2 original theatrical runs. I saw it once for each of those.
Did it probably re-released it before the 2019 one, if I were to guess, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And then it did for its 25th. And then it did for, I believe, its like 20th as well.
I'm trying to find it.
Sounds about right.
Because I know I've seen that thing six times in theaters, probably. The only movie I've seen about that many times in theaters is one of my other top 10s that I won't name.
I'm looking it up still. Keep talking.
Yeah, it's. I know it's a basic pick. I know everyone loves it, but it's just hard to deny the impact that it's had on my life, and none the least of which to say, the amount of money Disney has made on the Lion King franchise as a whole is absurd.
Hey, I stand by the fact that Lion King. I'm trying to remember. I think I also had the Lion King on VHS because either that or the second one. But not the original. Like it was reprinted several times later because on that VHS was the trailer for Lion King 1.5. And I know because I remember, it's so funny. I remember seeing that trailer so many times. I just love the Lion King 1.5 trailer. So I'm pretty sure that played before or after the Lion King. So that's what I would have had to have it on VHS.
I've only ever seen 1.5 once. And it was in 2004, I think. After I had my car accident and I was stuck in the hospital, I was like, "Oh, I've never seen this." Ha 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 ha! Dig a tunnel.
Oh no! Now it's stuck in my head.
What was that?
Quick before the hyena comes.
Quick, figure out what you're figuring out before he starts singing more.
I can't find someone just posting a list of how many times. I know it was re-released for IMAX, and then re-released in 3D again, and then I know it was released around, I think, like 2020 when nothing was coming out because Disney put out a bunch of stuff, and it's being re-released this year. As of recording this 2023, it's being released in the fall.
Really?
Yep.
So soon.
For Disney 100.
I'll have to go see that.
Interesting. Huh,
So.
Got to keep the streak alive.
Yep.
Watching it this time, I got to say, I just have a smile on my face the entire time. There are parts that I think are, as a consequence of being an animated movie, a Disney animated movie in the 90s, I think a little bit disjointed from itself, but it's still.
Do you have any specific parts that you can, like, just one you can think of where it's like, yeah?
There's just like, it just jumps around so fast. Like it all tracks, but it just jumps really quickly, like it cuts.
Is it kind of like what I said earlier this year when I rewatched Beauty and the Beast '91, where like, wow, this pace is so fast.
You rewatched 2019 too. Well, watched.
Are you talking about the 2017 Beauty and the Beast?
Shut up.
I didn't rewatch it. That was the first watch, and that was a mistake. That was. Let's not talk about that one. But I did notice like Beauty and the Beast, I still claim is their best animated movie.
I would agree.
I think that's them at the height of their powers. And the one thing I have when I watch it is like, this is so fast. Like, it's moving so fast. There are parts of it's like, I kind of would have liked a little more breathing room. I get it's made for kids, and that doesn't mean it slows down completely. Just 10 more seconds. Because, like, you're in an intense moment or an emotional moment, and it's just cutting fast.
I feel like this movie could have used another 10 or 15 minutes.
I would have been fine
overall.
With 10, 15 minutes.
Just a couple of things to fill, I think, some of the jumps.
I think we were talking earlier off camera, way earlier today, and I was saying how one of the things about a lot of Disney Renaissance movies, and maybe other Disney movies too, it's different nowadays. There are a whole myriad of problems with some of their modern movies, but one thing about the 90s run is they'll have really, really serious moments, and then it gets cut short or cut off by something very goofy. And it's because, we got to reel it back for the kids, but it's such tonal whiplash. Like, I think I told him, like, Mufasa has died, and they do let that sit. And it really takes its time. And, like, Scar literally tells Hyenas to kill him. Just get him. Yeah. And they're chasing him, and it's intense. And then it ends with cactus butt. Like, all of a sudden, it's, and he, like, they're yelling at each other. I go, it's it's not like it's bad. It's not even close to bad, but it is kind of like, oh man, I guess the serious thing is over. We're kind of jumping straight into goofy, silly again.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And that's just how these 90s were made. I was telling him Hunchback does it too. Mm-hmm. And probably other ones I'm not thinking of certain parts.
Probably Mulan.
Probably they all do it.
They just killed a whole bunch of Huns, and Eddie Murphy pops out and goes, "Man," whatever he says.
I will say him pulling up, he's like, Mulan, ah! Nope. It's funny. That's good.
That's in the middle of the scene, though. Like, the middle of the action
That's
scene.
why I was like, okay, that's really funny. But talk about Lion King, that was like the big scene this time. It's like, that's like a, whoa. Like, I'm still reeling from this death that I knew was coming. I knew this was going to happen. I've seen this so many times. Not as much as you, but I've seen this plenty of times, and it was still like, that's a tough scene. And then, cactus butt. I think it's funny, but it's like, we're switching gears. So, that's like my only big thing on this rewatch. That was kind of like, wow, I never really realized how fast this moves.
Mm.
The only thing that stood out to me on this specific rewatch was how just impressed I was with the score at some spots. And not just the singing parts, like the actual score, like when they were chasing Simba. Actually, is that one scene? I was just remembering that.
It's intense.
Yeah,
that's
really,
Hans. You brought up there is one quiet moment you really liked, and that's in the beginning when it cuts to the rain, right before we go to Rafiki's tree.
There's moments even before the rain too.
Yeah.
It shows the trees, and then it starts to rain, and I'm like, wow, I forgot about this quiet moment here. I wonder if there's more. And then, spoiler alert, there's not.
Yeah, but the music there is really good too. Like just, it's such a beautiful movie too.
I didn't know until like 10 or 15 years ago that Hans Zimmer scored that.
Which is weird because I feel like that's like all over it. Is there like Hans Zimmer's Oscar-winning score?
You got to remember, when I was a kid, I would not watch credits of movies.
I don't know if many kids watch credits for movies.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't. The songs would start playing, and you're already, on the floor with your siblings, or yelling something, or acting out the movie you just watched. Like, that's just, I'm this character, and I'm this character. Let's play. That's what you did back in the day. You got the 90s ballad playing over the end credits, and you're like, my Mufasa is dead. Yeah, now what are we going to do? Who else dies? It's like, what movie are you guys watching?
Yeah, the other thing, just going back to the franchise, just all the different shows that have spun out of this and all the different sequels. Like, it's the best. Okay, I'm going to straight up say it. It's the best Disney franchise that come out of the 90s at the very least.
He's probably right.
I mean, look, what was the first show called? Timon and Pumbaa.
Which is wonderful.
Lion King 2 is also wonderful. It's got one of the best lines of dialogue ever written in a Disney movie.
Scar's son?
Simba's Pride is what it's called.
Oh, I thought you said, no, the line. He's Scar's son. You go, but I thought he was, what? What's the line of dialogue?
Simba is walking, what's her name, Kiara or something?
Kiara, yep.
Through where the Pride Land's burned, and he's talking about all of this looks like it's a scar, and then he brushes some of the debris away and look what's growing underneath it. I don't remember exactly what he says.
Wasn't there like a flower or something?
It was like a little tree.
Or something, yeah. It's right at the end, right?
No.
That's at the beginning?
It's like a quarter of the way through it, I think.
I'm trying to remember.
Because she still has to run away to the other Pride.
It has been way too long since I've seen
That's my favorite Disney sequel.
Is that when she's a kid or an adult at that point?
Like medium.
I thought there was just one time jump.
Oh,
she's a kid at the
it's
beginning.
when she's a kid, because it's
okay, when she's little.
It's her Mufasa moment with Simba.
Gotcha. Okay. It's got a couple. It's got a couple pretty good songs to the "He Lives in You" song. I think they added to the Broadway run after the movie. It was that popular. They created a musical sequence for it in the Broadway show. I believe that's how it worked. I can't remember if it was before or after the Broadway show had already debuted. I don't remember.
That is something. For how much I love The Lion King, I have not ever seen a production of the Broadway show.
I feel like you'd probably like that.
The things I've seen, it's like you can see the humans, but they have like the big elaborate costumes, and like you're supposed to look above them where it shows you what animal they are, and they got all the characteristic types in their costumes, and it's such a cool thing.
I believe my VHS, one of the VHS copies I had of it has a preview for it or like a segment of it.
Oh, those. You want to know what makes even more money for Disney in the 90s? Like, not only do they have these giant grossing movies with these high-selling soundtracks and all the merchandise, these Broadway adaptations come out and make even more money. Because the Beauty and the Beast one, huge. And the Lion King one was huge.
Even bigger, probably.
Yeah, and that might be the only two from the 90s at that moment. Because there's a Little Mermaid and Aladdin ones, but those were later. But still, like, it's almost like before they started remaking their animated movies into live action, they were adapting their musicals for the stage and making even more money. Because then, guess what you can do after it's a hit Broadway play? You can release the original cast recording.
Yeah.
It's even more money, and then it goes on tour, and it just keeps getting revived. Like, it's a money machine.
And I remember. Do you guys remember? I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know if it was the original cast for the play or not, but it was like one of the early viral videos where they were on an airplane and they were singing. I don't remember what song it was, but they were singing a song on an airplane, and somebody took a video of it. And it just blew up. Like, it was all of a sudden everyone was like watching. Like, wow,
for one of the revivals.
Yeah.
Saying. Okay. I was like.
Well, obviously it wasn't way back.
I know.
Then,
I was like, he's talking. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the revival.
Yeah. And it was just like, it's just like literally that. Yeah, that stage play it took off.
And of course, talking about more of the franchise, you got. He's mentioned Timon and Pumbaa. Then there's the Lion Guard, which is kind of a younger kid show, which has run for a while, and that might have its own like direct to video movie or whatever, or a couple.
Lion King 1.5, obviously too.
Lion King 1.5, which
God,
that's
I love that movie.
I know you said you saw it in the hospital, right?
A long time ago.
And then
almost 20 years at this point.
That was like the perfect demographic for us
when
it came out, because it was like 2003. So
I mean, it was just like watching a better animated, more funny version of Timon and Pumbaa.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's actually a pretty fun concept of it's what they're doing when we don't see them in the first movie, because they don't show up in that movie till like 50 or 60 minutes in. They're not in it as much, but they leave such a big impression.
I don't think that's right. I timed it, and Mufasa dies, I believe, at 20 minutes in.
20 minutes? I thought it was later.
Really?
I don't think so.
I thought I checked, and it was like the 50-minute mark when Timon and Pumbaa charge into the scene. I thought it was something like that, but still, it's like in the middle of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. God, I'm not even kidding. And I loved Lion King. Obviously, it's one of the best movies they've made, but 1.5, that holds a special place in my heart, the amount of times that I have viewed that.
It's got that giant, Avengers Assemble ending where all the Disney character silhouettes enter the theater and they watch the movie again. And I remember last time I watched it years ago, I like paused it. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out who everyone is, because all you see are silhouettes. And so I thought
Did you find Quasimodo?
Yeah, he was in there.
Oh, he was definitely in there.
How about the fat gargoyle?
I think all three were in there.
I don't remember their names, to be honest.
Victor, Hugo, and Laverne. Come on.
Which one is it?
Victor Hugo wrote the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
What other?
I can't tell if you're doing a bit or
No,
you.
I legit.
You didn't know Victor Hugo wrote Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No.
What other works
Really?
of literature has Victor Hugo written? Did you know Victor Hugo is a person before right now?
No.
Okay. For the record, Les Mis.
I was going to say, Les Mis.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's neat. I didn't know that.
Guess where he's from?
I'm going to shot in the dark and say France.
Do you know where France is?
Okay.
Well, we know what...
It's part of the continent of Europe. Do you know what a continent is? No, you don't.
Way to bring it back. Way to bring it back. Way to bring it back. It has been 2 years.
On this installment of Dickey Knows... Geography.
geography has never been my strong suit.
We know.
That's the only video we had to add a disclaimer to this side. If you don't want to hear us,
Tell Dickey he's wrong about Madagascar.
for like 12 minutes,
Oh
we
my
just laid
goodness.
into him about it.
The Lion King.
It's a great movie.
Did we miss anything in the franchise? Oh,
Yeah.
we did. Well, we've mentioned it before, but while talking about this subject, what did we miss?
I was going to talk about the video game. I don't know what you were going to talk about.
Say
Oh,
the-
I was going to say
Disney World?
the other movie.
Oh, the new one?
Oh, the 2019
The
one?
one that when I walked out of the
We're
theater.
going to talk about it now.
Can I talk about the video game
Please,
first?
let's
Or
push
do
the-
we
keep
want
pushing
to end
this
with
up.
something that makes me happy?
So the video game, is that the one that was always in the previews where it's like a PC game where you jump on like tree limbs in one level and you're running through the desert in another? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's so. In the 90s, Disney did this wonderful thing where they actually made games that were like their movies. So, like, you have your Aladdins, you have your Little Mermaids, you have your Gargoyles games, which is now a Disney property. You also have.
That was always a Disney property.
Was it?
It was on Toon Disney. The Gargoyle show?
Not when I was a kid.
That was a Toon Disney show.
Not when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's its original. I think so.
It was on
It's a-
WB when I first watched
Interesting.
it.
I'm actually curious. I feel like that's a Disney property.
Or like
from the
some
start.
sort of network television. It might have been on 17, which might make it a Disney property.
That's a Walt Disney Television animation show.
I always assumed that they acquired it when they acquired Fox.
No, that's Disney from the start. But it's weird that it's Disney because it's good. And it's pretty dark.
Anyway, so the Lion King game is a lot of fun. It's way harder than it needs to be. Did you play either the Super Nintendo version or the Sega Genesis version?
No, but Sam did. And I remember saying, like, when you, the thing that clued me off was saying, when you said it was way harder than it needed to be. I remember her telling me, she asked if I ever played it. I'm like, I never played it. She's like, it is stupid hard.
You can buy it on the Switch now. I've been like fighting myself not to because I don't want to spend the money, but also I want to play the game again.
Well, then it's gonna just take up all your time too. You spend the money, and then we're not gonna hear. We're gonna get here,
It's like, where's
and the
Jake?
door's locked. It's like, where's Jake? He's like, just 1 second, one more level.
I mean, it's already kind of like that with Stardew Valley, but I digress.
You should get the Home Improvement game so you can fight dinosaurs.
Oh God, I don't want to play that ever again.
Apparently, the opening scene.
No, I know,
is-
I
is-
know,
yeah,
I
isn't
know,
it-
I
It's
know.
like a half hour of just through the script. It's one line at a time or something, isn't it?
No, it had different. It always starts with Timon going, "It starts." It's really dumb. I love it so much.
Have you watched John Tron's video about Disney bootleg games?
Bootleg games?
Like, they're made with the characters, but they're not a Disney property. Like it's
no.
basically, cheaply made foreign games. And every time you lose a level, it shows one of the characters offing themselves.
Oh my god.
And the moment that the first one happens, John does a whole funny bit, and it's still one of my favorite like shock jokes. And something happens, and it's like Timon digs his own grave. Simba hangs himself. Pumbaa is like served as an entree,
Oh my god.
and it's like, what is this? Because again, it's just like a bootleg game to make cheap money, and when he's playing these, it's like this is. And he plays other ones, but it's like...
Anyway, back to the legitimate Lion King game. All the different levels are themed after the different songs. It's actually
cool.
really cool because the first level is Circle of Life. A spin on that because they can't do that in 8-bit or 16-bit, whatever. I don't remember what Sega Genesis was at the moment. But then like there's the...
what?
Not
If you
Hakuna
can't get it,
Matata.
no worries.
I want to be
Matata.
king. I just can't wait to be king. That's what the name of the song is. Where you're jumping on like giraffes' heads and they tilt up and you gotta...
Oh, that's cool.
And then that godforsaken ostrich ride.
Standing in the spotlight.
Not yet.
Here we go again.
Madam, can you get off?
Emma! Nola! Rowan Atkinson, by the way, is wonderful.
Oh my
as
god,
Zazu.
he is amazing.
You were saying.
And then there's the Be Prepared level, and there's a Hakuna Matata level, there's a Can You Feel the Love Tonight level.
Oh.
Ooh.
You had to sign. Your parents had to sign something for you to play that level.
Anyway, it's way harder than it needs to be, but it's just the one that primarily sticks out in my mind. I think it's like the first interaction I had with like sort of 3D things, but it's not now that I know how it works. It's a level where you're Simba and you're running in the stampede, and the camera is like looking at Simba. So like you're looking straight on at Simba, and the stampede is behind you, and every once in a while a wildebeest will run past the camera, and you'll have to dodge it.
Oh, that's cool.
Blew my mind as a child.
It's probably scary. Because it's already probably a moment of the movie where it scared you. I hated watching that scene. As a kid.
That's a tough scene.
I'm
just
pretty dead inside.
Yeah, we know. The death scene, I'd watch and just be like, "Well, that's sad," but I'd be scared by the stampede because it was always that moment of like he's in trouble and he thinks it's his fault, and it's like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen. It's like the anticipation of the bad thing to happen, not the actual bad thing has happened.
You have a thing with like guilt though, like
Yes,
you're like scared
because
of guilt.
I am broken.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
We all are a little bit.
But
It's okay.
beautifully broken.
It's okay.
This is weird.
I didn't even know what was
Weird moment.
If you're an audio listener, thank the Lord.
Jared just touched us. I think it was inappropriately.
Anything else about the video game before we get to you know what?
There's a Hakuna Matata level where you had to jump up logs to go up a waterfall. It was so stupid. I hated it, and I loved it at the same time.
I feel like a lot of the older games they made harder because then when we get to be adults, we're traumatized by it, and we're like,
No,
"Oh,
they
it was
made
so annoying. I loved it."
They made it harder to make it take longer because if you actually take the amount of time, if you count up the amount of time it actually takes to beat the game, it's like an hour.
Is that it for the video game?
Yeah, that's it for the video game.
You know what? Okay, really quick before you tear it to shreds, because I know we're going to talk about the 2019 movie.
20 what movie?
Isn't it 19?
Okay, I thought you said 18.
He
I was
did
like,
say 18,
No,
I
I said
think.
19.
Keep going.
One of the best redeeming qualities is John Oliver. Just
That's
saying.
the news. Or whatever he
Redeeming
says.
qualities. Oh, you know what, too? I didn't watch the version that inserted the Morning Report song.
Oh, for the 94 one. I didn't either. My Blu-ray did not have it automatically in
That's
there.
because...
I have the Diamond edition.
see, that should have it automatically
I
inserted.
thought
That's weird.
It said Diamond on the case. And
Diamond is the one that has it automatically inserted, I thought.
Platinum does, because that's what I grew up with. We had the Platinum DVD, and it was in there. But I bought the Diamond Blu-ray, I think earlier this year, and I was waiting for it, and it didn't happen.
Maybe
And
I do have the Diamond Blu-ray then.
I don't know why, because I was expecting it, because they added it in. I think for the
You can watch it as
IMAX release, or was it the 3? It was. I think it was the IMAX re-release.
some godforsaken release. I don't like the song.
This is the Morning Report. That one.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
It might just be because it's an inserted thing that feels like an afterthought to something that I love, but...
Actually, there is another thing we can talk about before.
The Dark Times.
So when my siblings and I were kids, and you know this, and it was... I mean, you are aware of this too, but I don't know how much you interacted with the games on DVDs. I don't know how much you interacted with them.
You know how old I was when I got my first DVD?
Yes.
In 9th grade.
Yes. That's why I'm saying I don't think you would.
No.
My parents bought the Platinum 2-disc DVD special edition. Came out somewhere in the early 2000s. You know, probably like the 10-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of stuff to do. On disc 2, they had a Timon and Pumbaa Safari. Did you ever play that?
That rings a bell.
Now, the way it works is it's just cutscenes that are your decisions. Do you go left or right? That's it.
Yeah.
It's literally just it's like a menu with the cutscenes being the transitions, and you just hit an option. It's the simplest thing ever, and it was so fun for us.
That's like itching like a really, really, really deep
So
part of my brain.
when you put in disc 2 and you go to Safari, and it sounded like Nathan Lane, which that's a free paycheck to just go in and record lines for a speech, because it always starts with, "Welcome to the Timon and Pumbaa Virtual Safari," like that, and just. You would choose the Jeep or the boat, and the boat would go through like the waters, and there'd be hippos there, and there's a waterfall that would end it whatever way you go, and it's always nighttime. And the Jeep one, I remember, like the second or third decision is they go to a drive-through, and one option is bugs, and the other option is they're on the menu and the hyenas are running it, and you drive away.
I do remember that.
So that's what that was.
Deep cut.
And I remember having like family members over, and we would go, you know how the kids split off, go play. We go into the basement, we'd put a disc 2, and we'd be sitting there, and we get to a decision. Everyone's yelling, left, right. Actually, if we're kids, left, right. Actually, on camera, that's correct.
On camera, you nailed it.
But so I just remember sitting there for hours because you're trying to find all the different routes. And people that have way more time on their hands than me have probably mapped this out on Reddit 15 years ago. And if I ever find that disc, I could pull it up and then just go like, okay, what ways can I go?
Man.
And they continued it because I remember they had an option that was like coming soon. I'm like, what? We can't play this? And it was literally if you bought Simba's Pride DVD release and 1.5, they each had their own Safari, which we did the 1.5 one when we rented it, but we never got to do the Simba's Pride one. So that was just another like thing of like it's blowing our minds. We were like, oh, like look at this cool game. It's just menu to menu.
But
basically.
those old games on discs, those are that's
so much fun.
Deep throwback.
It is funny to think. Our memories of having fun as kids are sitting in front of a TV and hitting buttons on the remote. That's it.
Yep. Very simple.
But it was so much fun.
It was.
I wanted to get that out because I was realizing, oh yeah, because everyone loves Timon and Pumbaa, right?
Of course.
They're funny. They got their own show. That
was a
show
good
makes
show.
me happy.
It was a good show.
It's just them in the contemporary world all the time. Maybe not all the time, but like they'd use modern technology, and it actually is a little weird when they'd be in like big cities.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
It was good. Okay, guys, but listen, as good as that 94 movie is, it's nothing near the quality, masterpiece, brilliant piece of filmmaking that is the 20. I can't say that with a straight face.
See,
So,
it's funny,
should we-
it's
should we
funny because
add,
when I walked out of the movie theaters having seen it, you were defending it.
Yeah,
And
let's
I-
give them the context before you try to defend yourself.
And I will say, here's the thing, and I have been, and I will be a defender of
Bad opinions. You can't pause like that.
I'm trying to find the best way to phrase what I'm trying to
I
There's
got it.
no good way to phrase what
Yeah,
you're
I
trying
got
to say.
I got you ready. You were wrong.
Listen,
Or rather,
Listen.
you were a corporate shill.
I'm absolutely not. But listen, is as much and listen, the movie is flawed from start. There's no reason to make this other than money. But then again, every movie's made for money, so
That's not true.
every Hollywood movie,
Also not true.
Most of them. How about that? Most of
but-
them are made for
99%.
a lot of them. Yeah.
I don't feel like
I just
Oppenheimer was made for money.
absolutely was. They wanted to make money on it.
Keep going.
All I'm simply saying is, while I was gonna say it's flawed from the start because the only point of making this is you're still animating it, right? Like they say it's live action, it just looks live action.
It doesn't
But-
even look live action.
But the thing is that the thing that I want to defend about it is I understand wanting to bring new generations to a new adaptation of the movie. However, I think they went about it the wrong way.
Okay.
So-
Are you?
That's what I have to say.
Are you good? Okay. I agree with you 100%. Except they didn't change anything.
No, they didn't.
They had Mufasa playing Mufasa.
It's a weird
It
thing.
is like a
that,
one-for-one movie.
It is
Like
also-
in line and dialogue.
which
And-
gave us an extra half hour even that we wanted, but they gave us rolling turd. You're gonna add stuff. That's what you add.
Yeah.
Here's-
Well, listen, that's why I understand the philosophy behind making the movie. I can understand that, but obviously, this isn't a shock to anybody. It's not as good as the first one.
Not even close.
Yeah, and
It doesn't have any life or color in it.
Yes, and I agree with that. I'm simply saying I know what they try, and I think parts of it do work. I really do think John Oliver was great in it. I really do think Seth Rogen and
Billy Eichner.
Billy Eichner, thank you. I thought those two were great, and they had a lot of fun. But obviously, it's flawed from beginning when you draw
Open the movie.
When you draw animals talking.
When you watch it, that's when the problems.
When the movie says The Lion King.
It runs into a problem of they need to make this different enough for it to have a reason to exist in their minds. Because that if they would just remake it because they want money, and it will make money because it's Disney, Lion King, big IP, whatever.
Yeah.
The problem becomes if they want to make it different, people are gonna get mad it's too different. There are more people who are mad that if it's the same stupid thing and worse. But in their minds, it's we got to keep this familiar still. So that's why the animals talk because they're not going to take a risk and make it where they don't talk. But then they even at that, why is this a musical? Because what do you?
Was Mulan before or after this?
After. It was the next
year. But it was
year.
even worse.
Because that's what I was going to say.
I wonder if that factored into making Mulan not the same and the same songs.
And it was even worse.
The big the comparison between musical numbers that I like to look at is I Just Can't Wait to Be King. In the original, what did you say you do in the game that also happens in the movie?
Jump on a lot of animals and trees and get thrown around by monkeys.
Yeah, you're jumping on giraffes. They're lined up in this
and
big
colorful
column of stuff. Because that's all fantasy.
And something you can do with animation.
Yeah, and it's kind of a blurred
medium.
It's a blurred line thing too because Zazu gets sat on.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this kind of did happen, but it's heightened reality. We don't need to take it super seriously. It's not, you know what I mean? You can't do that when you're trying to be photorealistic like that, and you're trying to be, realistic. Just realistic in general.
Yeah.
And when you watch the original, it's very colorful because the drop of the song when he pounces at him, the color changes, and everything's a different color, and the animation gets crazier, and it's not what we've been seeing the whole movie. It's different, and it's exciting.
It is.
And what do they do in 2019? They walk around a pond the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just this.
It's
just in a circle. That's the only thing they do. It's like, why is this a musical? They're just going to walk the whole time. There's no expression. There's no nothing.
That's the biggest sin, in my opinion, is that there's just no expression. But the animals still talk. Yep. So you would expect their mouths move. Like, it would be one thing, I think, if it was like they were thinking the words.
Yeah, kind of like a Homeward Bound or something like that.
Yeah, but since their mouths move, we expect the rest of their face to express, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
The other big sin, I think, is having James Earl Jones voice the same character 30 years later.
And Jeremy Irons, right? Didn't they get him back?
No.
too?
No, it's
It was Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hope I said that
that's
right. I'm really bad at pronunciations. I'm really sorry if I said that wrong.
Actually, I think you did. I think you said his name.
But not only voicing the same character, but saying a lot of the same line, like word for word. Like, I feel like they could have just lifted his dialogue out of the original Lion King.
Yeah, if you're going to adapt it and change something.
Yeah, like if you're gonna adapt it, add something to it. It's just the general like vibe I get with all of the Disney remakes from. I'm not going to say Jungle Book because I think Jungle Book was improved in some ways.
I haven't seen it, but
it was
Little
different.
Mermaid?
It was different enough.
Little Mermaid.
See,
it's
Little
not as
Mermaid.
good.
I haven't seen it. I can't.
Little Mermaid is hard because Halle Bailey is really great in
Really
it,
good.
and it is super important that a bunch of little girls that did not have a role model on screen now do.
Yeah, no, yeah.
However, it doesn't add anything to it other than that.
The movie around her is not great. She is fantastic.
And
She
also
nailed
really,
it.
really short.
She is very short.
They can't show her and Eric in the same scene because she is so short.
Oh, that's funny.
It's kind of funny how they get around it. I also really liked Eric's song.
Yeah, it did not really fit in with the known songs.
No, but I liked it.
But I liked it, yeah. But when you get back to 2019 Lion King, it's just the emotion is gone, and the clip going around on online of the Mufasa death
Oh, the death scene
is so funny because like I'll break it down bit by bit, like the Scar line delivery, where it's "Long live the king," and you see the darkness go, and you see the look in his eyes. Instead, it's "Long live the king," and he's falling. And you know how, like in the movie, it's slowed down, and it's the yell and the sound of the wildebeest, and like he's flailing,
zooming out of Simba's eye like
yeah.
that.
And
that's a good shot.
In the 2019 one, it's showing him from not from that straight up angle of him plummeting to his death. Instead, it's like from like a side angle, and it looks like someone threw a cat off a couch. There's and his yell is because James Earl Jones is 90 something at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, he still is 90 something. I'm just saying, so instead of this big yell, it's and then instead of being out of
that's exactly what it was.
and then instead of out of Simba's eye, and there's that musical thing underneath him, like that, as he's instead it's just this. It's this younger kid who, they chose to go the younger kid. Fine, because JTT was older than this kid was, but the yell, it's just like and they don't start here in the eye and go out in that. It's like a medium shot, and then it's like the camera shows this no, then they pull like the original is as it's happening. The other one, it's like frozen in place, and then no, and then it goes out, and it is so funny. And they cut back to it at the climax, just like they do in the 90s one, and it's even funnier.
I do kind of want to rewatch the 2019 one because
I don't. Enough of my soul has left my body.
I haven't seen it since the movie theater.
Yeah,
Since 2019.
I used to not like talking about the 94 one for years because
you didn't like it
because it was nonstop everyone's favorite, and everyone talked about it and loved it, and it's like I can't listen to this anymore. Like all through middle and high school, I liked the movie growing up, but people would not shut up. And it's like,
for those wondering, Jared is our hipster of the week. Every week.
And I just remember thinking, it's a good movie, but I can't take this anymore, because it's our age, millennials, Dickey, getting into high school, getting online, and being like, remember all these Disney movies that were great? And I'm thinking, yes. They didn't go anywhere. They're still pretty popular. And so that's where that all started. And so it got to the point of I am so sick of hearing about this movie.
You don't get to say things like, remember these Disney movies that were so great until you're 28 or 30. Thank you very much.
Oh boy, I'm right in between that. but
I'm also in that range.
And I remember I made a list. I have a list of my 100 favorite animated movies, and I first started doing it in 2019 or 18.
Oh,
and
that's right.
And I made the list and showed Jake, and I did one thing that I still stand by, but I knew would set him off, and it did. I put Lion King 96th because it's a personal opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't care that he's like, oh, I'm surprised it's on there. He looked at the one right in front of it. It was Recess, School's Out. And he
Yeah,
blew
man.
a gasket. He's
That's
like,
a
you like the Recess movie more than Lion King? I'm like, yes, I do.
Damn good movie.
I still do.
It's a similar reaction that I had to Dickey rating the Mario Brothers movie a 10.
There it is.
But that is a damn good movie.
Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Like, it's like, I like the movie. It's really good. I'm sick of people talking about it. I'm just sick of it. And then the 2019 one happens. It made me appreciate the 90. So it actually did do something good. It made me realize this is a piece of dung, and the original is actually really good. And it's funny because another friend of ours, Lion King was their favorite movie, and it's not anymore because of the 2019 one. It was like I go back and forth between these two, like another movie and Lion King '94, and then when the new one came out, it's like I think it hurt my soul so much. I kind of don't want to have to say the first one's my favorite, and I was like, understandable.
I get it.
Fair.
I get it.
And then what we got to talk about? What happened to Be Prepared in 2019? They made it.
I don't think that guy could sing it, so
But he can. He was on Broadway. He's in Kiki Boots. He's a singer. He can sing. And they made it a spoken word thing.
Then apparently the spoken word thing they thought would be more popular.
And no one likes it.
No.
I've not heard a single person say they like it because it starts building and he starts to get into it more. I'm like, okay, is this going to be like an extended song and it's going to build to what we're feeling with? No, it just ends. And it's like, I don't want the same exact thing, but if you're going to put the songs in there, why are you changing them into worse songs?
Yeah.
So,
can you feel the light tonight?
Can you feel the love this afternoon? See, what I noticed...
Nickelback version.
Look at this giraffe. Yep.
Hey! What this afternoon is.
In the 94 one, it is not nighttime when they start. I noticed that this time. It's the middle of the day in the original, just like the 2019 one.
Doesn't feel like it.
They go into the jungle where you don't see as much sunlight and the color palette changes, and then by the end, it's darker. And that makes sense. They're under the tree line. There's not sun and time passed. They spent all day together doing
Things.
yes, rolling in the hay. Yep, and I remember thinking like, wow, I thought this was at night when it started. I'm like, was this not at night? And I'm watching. It's going like, is this during the day? Is my joke for the other one like not as funny? And then I get to the end and it's dark. No, it is. Then you watch the 2019 one, and I feel bad because Donald Glover and Beyonce are good singers, are great singers, and they sing the song really well. It's two lions running in a circle in a very like yellowish, boring field, singing in broad daylight, and that's it.
Yeah.
Elton John's Oscar-winning song
It's tough when you
from the first one is sung in a boring, ugly field.
It's tough when you said that, the vocal talent is there. Those are both incredibly talented musicians. I just wish that they had the right visuals to accompany their vocal talents.
And then it's like, if you're going to add stuff to the story, fine. They added like the subplot between some new hyena we've never heard of and Nala, but it's never developed. It's like brought up once when they're
I don't
younger.
even remember what you're talking
I don't
about.
either.
Here's why, because you get to the end during the fight, and I think there's a line which now says, "I've been waiting for this day since I was a cub." And I remember all of us, the people I was with, were like, "What? Where did this come from?" We're confused. We're like, this wasn't developed. I don't mind if there's a subplot or two that makes this have to be 2 hours. There's no reason. They just pad it with
20
nothing.
hours of dung.
Yep. And it's just like that went nowhere. Also, Beyonce's acting in the movie is really bad. It's really
That
bad.
wasn't great.
It's not the first time she's acted either. She's been in other things. She's in Austin Powers. That was in like
Yeah, she was in
2003.
Austin Powers.
Like that was almost 20 years before this. It's not she's acted before, but her delivery is real bad in this. It's just, I can't even say disappointment. It's more than disappointment. It's just
betrayal.
Yeah, thank you. It's
a betrayal.
yeah.
Especially when you look at like what online artists can do, and they make
yeah.
a better representation of a realistic what the animation is than what we actually got. And it's like, why not pay those people to do this.
Because Disney wants to find the cheapest way to make the...
I don't think it's that.
Now we're in an animator strike.
No, we're not. I don't think any animators are striking.
I thought they did.
Yeah,
As of recording this, things can change by the time this comes out, of course.
yeah.
I don't think I mean, there's...
I'm pretty sure some of them have.
I know some are
I
trying
thought
to
I read that
unionize, and special
somewhere.
effects artists trying to unionize, which
Which
is
they
good.
should.
Good.
And video game artists are going that way too.
Also, they should as well.
What I was saying was, I feel like Disney didn't do that because they probably thought, no, we want this to be photorealistic because that's what people want out of these. They want these to be like real, and
that's
that. I don't think that's what.
That's the other thing too. Like, Jon Favreau can be kind of hit or miss as a director, right?
Like on the one hand,
I
you
think
got
it depends.
Jungle Book and Lion King and Cowboys and Aliens, and on the other hand, Zathura and Chef
An Elf
and Elf
That's quite a combination, but...
and Iron Man
and
Iron Man too.
Several Mandalorians.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
mean, it's
dude's competent. I know the
Yeah.
dude's
Chef is maybe one of my favorite movies of...
is it in your top 10?
It honestly might be in my top 10 now.
hold on. We just covered your top 10.
Put Chef in it. We're going to rewatch it. No, but honestly, I love Chef. And he actually
There we go.
I like Chef. I like
Favorite
Chef.
Jon Favreau movie?
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say Zathura because I just watched it this year.
Zathura's fantastic.
I don't want to say Elf. I think that's the only one that's left
There's
that we
so
haven't
many
talked
more.
about.
Jon Favreau, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was supposed to be for a transition, but here we are. Lion King.
What I'm saying is that he's obviously competent.
And in charge of a lot of different properties now.
So it makes you wonder how much of it was him and how much of it was
I
studio.
bet you a lot of it was him
feels-
because Jungle Book. He did.
But I appreciate Jungle Book.
And,
I
and,
don't.
and I feel like Lion
know
King
you don't.
feels more like run by committee than...
It is a bigger property than Jungle Book.
Yeah. So they probably it might just want to be one of those things where you just have too many cooks in the kitchen. And
Maybe.
They all
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
And
There you go.
Too many elves on the shelf.
that's funny.
Too many
I
cowboy.
and
no.
I don't,
Okay, stop.
and I don't think any of us are really saying that Lion King 2019 looks bad.
No.
We're just saying
It
just-
looks great.
it's
The
just a
special
betrayal
effects
to our
are
childhoods.
Yeah.
The special effects are cool.
That's what I mean.
The color palette is boring because they try to make it photorealistic. But I feel like Africa is way better looking than that.
It is. I
Yeah.
haven't been there, but it is.
Because it's what did we say? We were trying to look where Lion King was. I thought it was Kenya. It might be closer to like Tanzania.
Oh, I have no clue.
It's somewhere in there. It's like
And Dickie doesn't even know what continent Madagascar is a part of.
the point being the actual terrains and landscapes that they researched for the '94 movie are way better looking than what they created in 2019. I feel like I've never been there. I'm not an expert. I don't know. I just feel like real life looks way better than that.
Yeah. If you're gonna do real life, photo it. Photograph it. Holy crap!
What do you do?
If you're gonna do real life,
He take point
photograph it.
the camera, go click click.
If you're gonna not do real life, draw it. And draw
After
it.
geography class, we're gonna have a vocab test.
I need that, honestly. I really do.
Anyway, just to end on a high note, I really love this game. Like this movie has meant so much to me
It's-
as a person, and I know it's basic. I get it, but
Sometimes a
We
basic's
all
okay.
need a basic pick in our top 10.
I have 3.
Some of us have
them.
only basic picks in our top 10.
Shots fired.
I disagree with that, but okay, go off.
Yeah, I mean, the one that you don't have is Sing Street.
Yeah.
That's not basic.
It's not basic at all. I
Midsummer,
wouldn't say
is
Midsummer
that
is
basic?
It's a little too recent to know, but it's fairly well known. But I wouldn't say it's basic. But
I
then
know-
the rest of them,
I know that not
there's
owls.
nothing wrong with that. It's a good list.
Oh, thank you. I know.
A lot of people like owls. I like owls.
I just
You
don't.
like
I
owls.
just don't,
Everybody likes owls.
I just don't know that I would call it basic. Now, if he put Spirited Away on his list,
That's probably a little more than
guys, you want to talk about merchandise? Like I know it's backtracking. I just don't want to talk about 2019
You got a
Lion King
backtrack?
anymore. Oh, yeah. I had a backpack. I had pencil holders. I had stuffed animals. I had an alarm clock. Dude, I had a gumball machine that was Lion King. It had a little plastic Simba on top. And, like, you put a coin in, like, it was like you put a coin into Pumbaa's mouth.
I was really concerned where that was going for like a minute there. I'm not going to lie.
Well, he can clear the savannah after every meal.
He's a sensitive soul.
You know, I seem thick-skinned.
And it hurts.
That my friends never stood downwind.
And no, the shame.
See, he was
I
ashamed.
want to change my name.
Oh, what's in a name?
And I got down hotter.
How did you feel?
Every time that I...
Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. I can't go that low. You gotta do. Oh, sorry, I can't do it.
Oh, sorry.
There we go again.
Come on, it's so hard not to
I
press the
know.
song. It's so
I need
hard.
Now,
yet
when you wake
satisfying.
up to your alarm clock, would it be you're sleeping, then you hear a little dinging? This is the morning report.
No, it was the most annoying alarm.
Actually, that wouldn't have been around when you were a kid because that was added
That's
in
true,
a later
yeah.
room. But that would.
You know what I would like to see? You know how there's that work print of Beauty and the Beast?
The
I'd like to
laser
see-
disc you got.
Yeah, I'd like to see one for Lion King.
That would be cool if they did that.
I still need to put that in my Laserdisc player and see if it works, though.
That's right, isn't it? What was it again? Was it a rot?
Yeah, something with the glue.
Something like it probably is rotted, so it might not play.
It's got like a... I don't know. I just want to see... It's a cool novelty to have regardless.
You know what you should do? Instead of trying to watch it, you should have Drew record it on that first watch just in case something goes wrong on it. Because you don't want to watch the whole thing and it works, and then when you try to record it to have it, you know,
fair.
Drew has it, and then it rots, or like then it doesn't work.
That's fair. I had to talk to him about that.
Yeah, you should have him record just on that first. Because then if something goes wrong, nothing you can do. But if it worked perfectly the first time, what if it doesn't work again? So I'm just saying that'd be cool.
Hold on. Please pause while I communicate with Drew.
You made a very good point, Jared. He's jumping right on that right now.
Yeah. We're going to see Drew soon, aren't we?
When are you going to see Drew?
On this podcast.
That's right.
We're not going to tell him when, but he's
does
probably
pop-
going to be back
He
pretty
does
soon.
pop up. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I forgot about
We've
that.
seen him already a couple times.
Man, I love
We're
my
going to see
friend.
him again. Well,
I miss
we're not
him.
going to say what.
Can he come back?
What have we been saying?
Can he come back, like, again?
Yes,
after that?
we've just been saying he's after.
We need him here for, like, a whole
Just
series.
keep having him come.
Comment below what series you want to see Drew in his entirety
And what
in.
we should feed him while we keep him a hostage in our office. He's going to sleep under this table.
Look. I know you installed those chains for a reason. I just didn't think that was the reason. Anyway, Lion
That
King.
note.
Oh, I got to get this off my chest.
Pillowcases, too. Oh, man.
Don't forget, we both had one little thing we noticed on this rewatch.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to go first? You want me
I'll
to
go first because you know this is your movie. I'll let you spend more time. My little thing was, you know, I always turn subtitles on because sometimes they mark things with subtitles.
I got two things now.
Gotcha. See, it's good. You went second. And the betrayal scene. Right, you know, Mufasa's making his way up. He goes, "Scar, brother, help me!" Right? I never noticed this before. I don't know if it was added in on a re-release. I don't. Right? It says, "Scar, brother," and you hear Scar whisper real quiet, "Brother." Right before, like right around, he says, "Brother." Mufasa says, "Brother." It's really quiet. And I don't know if his mouth moves or it might be cut away, but I backed it up. I'm like, what? Because I saw the subtitles. I cranked it. It's, "Scar, brother, like that. I go, ugh.
I didn't realize that.
I've seen this 30, 40 times and
At
never
least.
noticed that. And you've seen it more than that. And did you ever notice that? Yeah. What are yours?
So the first in mine is kind of a dumb thing. So for the last year or two, I've followed suit with you and started watching things with subtitles. I watched this with subtitles. I have never seen the words to Circle of Life before.
they're written out.
And so when I went to when I was reading them, you know, I don't know how closed caption worked, to be honest, especially on Blu-rays. sometimes I wonder if it's auto-generated, and so like the actual like the words are coming up on the screen, and I'm like, and they're not like separated between the like the backing vocals and the main vocals, so you're reading what they're all saying all at once, and it's like, is that what they're actually saying, or is that like what the DVD thinks they're saying?
I'm pretty sure that's what they're actually saying.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That is
Don't try.
not what they're saying.
And don't try.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. No matter how many times all of us have sung that in the shower,
No.
we're not going to try.
I only sing it when
You
the
have to-
water's too hot at first.
But you have to do it the Lion King 1.5 version.
What's on the menu? Something, it's Boomba.
That's all I had to have.
The second thing that I noticed is during one of what has got to be one of Disney's best villain songs ever.
Yeah.
Second
Oh,
only
yeah.
to probably Frollo's
Yeah.
song.
Hellfire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put it second.
Yeah. When in the part where the block of hyenas is marching in front of Scar's pillar,
The Triumph
and-
of the Will shots. Basically, whatever. The North Korean shot, whatever.
yeah,
parallel they're making.
and the camera rises like from their level to his level. There is this accordion part that is just there, and it's aimless, and it doesn't have like a melody or anything. It's just like yeah, I can't emulate them.
What's it like again?
I can't emulate. I can hear it in my head. I cannot emulate it. But it's just like filler noise, and I
was
never
it an accordion
noticed
or
it
was it an
before.
organ?
I think it was an accordion. It sounded like an accordion to
Okay.
me.
And it just, you all of a sudden heard, you're like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I like freaked out. I was like, I've never what? Because that doesn't seem like a song that an accordion would be in.
Unless you're trying to get like that more like
Unless you're-
gothic feel to it.
Yeah,
If it
maybe,
were-
or unless you're trying to make something seem a little bit more playful than what it is.
Or all like horror-esque, whatever, when you add like the...
Hippity hop all the way to the birdie boiler. Oh no,
not
not
the
the birdie
birdie
boiler!
Hey, pick on somebody your own side. Like you. Oops.
That elephant graveyard is such a cool.
I think Banana
I
Beak, you're
laugh in
scared.
the face of danger.
That's Mr. Banana Beak to you, Fuzzy. Mr. Bean is so funny.
He's great.
What were you saying? I cut you
Was I
off
saying,
because
Howard?
with the Banana Beak statement.
I was just saying the elephant graveyard was a very cool set. Very cool design to that. I really like the way that looked.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think I mentioned everything.
I think I did too.
Good.
It did literally change my life. That's all I gotta say. Or has changed my life.
Some movies you watch as a kid.
It's still changing
Yeah,
your
kind of.
life.
It's did like I can still.
Next week, Jake's gonna learn the accordion in honor of that one part.
You say that,
That'd
but
be great.
like I could find an accordion at like a pawn shop somewhere and be like, I want to learn that.
And play the chicken dance.
Sure.
On that note,
Literally.
if you liked what you heard here and you want to hear more, you can follow us on the socials to hear what we got going on later. Jared, where can they find us?
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and TikTok. And you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, rate us on all those things, and check out our groovy website.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you for listening to today's awesome episode. This was Jake's 5th pick. So for next week, you gotta want to watch
Yep.
Jake's 4th pick before you go check us out. Jake, tell them what to watch.
Fourth, right? So that was my other super basic pick. It's a movie none of you have ever heard of. It's
Oh.
super indie and like no one's ever heard of it.
I'm
Like,
curious, what is that?
Yeah, I liked it before it was cool. Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, that's a real small movie.
He liked it before we did.
Yeah.
You know why? We weren't alive.
Yeah, I was alive when it was out, Jared.
Not when it first
Shut
came
up.
out.
That one I
After
did.
your vocab test, we're going to learn about time.
And counting.
No,
One
that's a lost. 2
Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
3 Mississippi 4s. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Everybody, please check back every Tuesday, every Thursday. We got more awesome stuff coming away from all this at All Media. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
If you're hungry for a big fat chunk of juicy meat, eat my buddy Pumbaa here because he is a treat. Coming down and dying on a Stacy Swine. All you have to do is get in line. Are you aching for some bacon? He's a big pig. You could be a big pig too.